Welcome once again to another edition of Game On. As always, we are so glad you chose Game On as your source of local sports news. Today's episode will have myself back in the field putting my pride on the line trying another sport. I talk with world record holder Dave Pearson, a world-renowned pool player. He tells me about his adventures at the Olympics and countries all over the world, performing for thousands of people. I even tried some trick shots myself and hate to say it, but left him a bit impressed. Later, Matt and I put our heads together as we discussed John Gibbons, as it was announced yesterday that he will no longer be the Blue Jays manager. How did he perform? How will the team do headed forward? See what Matt and I think on this episode of Game On.
Ultimately, what we've decided is that John will not be returning as our manager. So you don't come to those decisions easily. It's been very difficult, but ultimately because of who he is as a man and our respect for him, we are here today.
We're Ross and I are on good terms. Just one of those things that happen in baseball. It's not surprising. It's pretty common, and we've come to the conclusion, for best for both sides, that we go different directions. So that's where we're at today.
One of the things I've also learned from Gibby is just it's always important to reflect upon why we're doing this, and the fans are always at the forefront. And he's really helped this organization remember that and see that. And so as we are here today at a time that there is going to be a change, we are going to have a new voice, we are going to have a new approach. This is a day that we are getting to with the utmost respect for John Gibbons.
First year here, even when I was a coach before I started managing, everybody always said, looking back into the 80s, when this place first opened, there was, nobody ever drew 4 million people, And I always say, well, if you put a good team on the field, a competitive team that's in at the end, the people will show up, okay. And it took a while. It took some years, and then finally everything came together in 2015, and that's what happened. They started showing up in droves. We got fired as a team, and that helped, and we were there in the end. And they were here every day filling this place up. So, one team in one country, big country. It's pretty cool. You know what? I'll always be a Blue Jay. But I've been in baseball a long time now, and I get how this business works, and I knew the reality of it. It wasn't just coming from here; it was coming, from all over baseball. We were a pretty good team for a couple of years, but if things start sliding, that's just the way it goes, right? I like still, keep managing the game. If that, these jobs are tough to come by. If not, I like to stay in the game in some capacity, because I'm not ready to retire yet. But there's got some buddies that have those special assignment jobs, where they go out once a month and take some phone calls. Those have always sounded good to me.
And there you saw John Gibbons' final words, as he is now officially no longer the Blue Jays bench boss. Matt, tell me, since he joined the team in 2013, what kind of legacy is Gibbons going to cement for himself now that he's gone?
Well, I think that, now that Gibbons is gone, when you look at what he did from 2013 to 2018 with the Blue Jays, he transformed the Blue Jays to, now fans in Toronto looking back at what he did with them, they're going to look at the team in a positive way. Sure, these last few years, they haven't made the playoffs, but when you look at 2016 and 2017, they've had really good teams, and he guided them to the playoffs for the first time since they won the World Series back in 1993. So I think that, they're going to miss John Gibbons too, but, they're going to thank him for all he's done in Toronto as well.
And like you said, they had 2 great teams. They brought them 2 teams to the ALCS, which is a feat for any team, especially in baseball, for how hard it is to make the playoffs. What is something that's going to stick with you from John Gibbons' tenure? One thing that I will definitely remember is how many times he got kicked out of games. When he got thrown out, it got to make you laugh every time. But what's something that's going to stick with you?
I'd have to agree with you on that, actually, Alex, because how many times did we see, out of all the years he's been with the Blue Jays, I can't even count how many times he's left that bullpen and argued with the umpire. Like, he must hold the Toronto Blue Jays record for most game suspensions as a manager, because, I mean, like, he's passionate, he's a really good guy, and again, like, he has so much experience in the MLB, but I'd have to say, like, apart from the good years he's had with the Blue Jays, I'd have to agree with you that how many times he's been kicked out of games, that's going to be probably my most memorable moment of him too, apart from the good teams he's built together.
Now let's pick apart their playoff appearances. One thing that did kind of irk me during this John Gibbons era is it almost seemed like they would rely on the home run ball way too much, and they didn't want to play the small ball, you know, the bunts, stealing bases to kind of get people ahead. They relied a lot on getting that deep ball, that home run, because they had a team that had so many players that could do it. Bautista, Encarnacion, you name it, the list goes on and on. Do you think that maybe if Gibbons decided to play a bit more small ball, the ALCS appearances would have went a little bit different?
I'd say yes and no, because it's actually kind of hard to say, because again, like when you look at the roster that they've had over the years, like, you know, Bautista, Encarnacion, and then Melky Cabrera when he was with the Jays, like, I think that yes and no, it would have been a situation, but looking back, like, this is just my opinion. Like, you know, when they had R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer?
Yes, of course.
I don't know what it was with that team, though, but every time he started a game, like, the Blue Jays did not get many runs. Like, I don't know what it was, because every time he pitched during a game, like, they almost ended up losing the games with him. And they go, like, when they brought this guy in, they go, oh, he's the real deal. He's going to win games with this team. His pitching is top-notch. But no, I think maybe more no than yes with what you said, actually.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that R.A. Dickey era. But besides that, during these playoff runs, it seemed like they could have done it. It seemed like the roster was there to do it. The pitching picked up at the times it needed to. And let's talk about that magical run to even make the playoffs the first time around, where they went, what was it, 18 games, where they needed to win basically outright to make the playoffs. And they did it, and they appeared in the playoffs. They won that wild card game. They went on to the ALCS. I don't know if I could say comfortably they couldn't have done better without Gibbons during that time. And I know I loved Gibbons for the guy that he was. He was a great character for the game, and he was fun to watch. But it was so frustrating watching two guys on base, one out, and them hitting into a double play instead of trying to just advance runners. I guess that's going to be my short Gibbons rant there. But I guess I don't want to dwell too much on that exactly. Looking forward, they've got pieces coming up. They've got the best prospect in baseball in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Going forward, who do you think could maybe slot into that spot, and where do you think the Jays are going to go from here?
I think that, I hope they do make the playoffs. I'm confident they will. But again, this is Major League Baseball. Only the first place and second place teams make it. So I do hope they make the playoffs. I'm not sure if they will, though. But looking ahead to this, next year's team, when they have Kendrys Morales, look what he did this year with the Blue Jays. He set the new franchise record for our longest consecutive home run streaks. He hammered a home run in 7 consecutive games, which set the new Toronto Blue Jays record for the longest home run streak, passing Jose Cruz Jr., who held the previous record back in 2001. And he was only one more game away. If he would have made it 8 consecutive games hitting a home run, he would have tied the Major League Baseball record. So I think that, the Blue Jays are in good shape heading into next year. But again, I wonder who the manager is going to be. But I'm just guessing. I wonder if Buck Martinez would like to go back in there. But then people would miss his announcing. So
very true. Well, the Blue Jays have some pieces to work with, and they have some time ahead. It's not looking like they'll contend for a few years. But in that time, let's see how the cards play out and how the team unfolds. But these questions can only be answered in time. And when they do get answered, we'll be there. More Game On after this. And now here we go. The moment a lot of people like looking forward to is where I put my pride on the line and go out and try another sport. Now, I really wish I would have had the chance to introduce it with Dave a little bit more properly, but as you can see from the interview we had, it flew so naturally that we just had to let the camera roll. So we're going to take it away and show you exactly what happened.
I've had the good fortune to play pool 75, 76 countries. I've done the Olympics, I've done most major celebrities, events, charity events. But I think the most beautiful place I've ever been to in the world is Thailand. The views are just incredible. They have these limestone cliffs that look like humongous trees coming out of the ocean, and they go about 100 meters high. Yeah, and it's great to experience different cultures and entertain different people around the world, which is really cool. Now I get more enjoyment out of watching people have some fun. The plus side, I've been all over the world. The minus side, I've been all over the world by myself. So you've been in and out of a lot of these places because of your scheduling. I think the plus side was probably all the enjoyment you bring to kids. Unfortunately, these days, Alex, you're a young guy. Most of the kids now are playing all the Wi-Fi games. Yet I can come into an event and you could have 20 kids and they go crazy over a few trick shots. The world records never bothered me. Okay. Like, it was interesting. I would try it because I knew I was a fast pool player, so I could beat them. But 15 years ago, I don't even care about world records. I actually get upset because if you go to an event and there's 500 people, 1,000 people, you feel as though you've let them down. Doesn't bother me one bit if I get a record. But I've had a great life, and I have a line of cues sold all over the world, which is nice. NameYourCuePrice.com. I did some more sports celebrities, a couple of TV stars. The best people are the blue collar.
Yeah.
They're appreciative, they're down to earth. That's what I am, blue collar. So that's great.
What? Well, Dave, thank you so much for everything you've done today.
I like them trick shots, Alex, by the way. You're pretty good.
I mean, hey, I'm not too bad. I don't want to brag, though. I don't want to get too carried away. Dave, thank you so much for coming on to Game On, and thank you guys for watching. And here we are again, both you and I, at the end of another episode of Game On. We thank you as always for spending the last half hour with us as we do our best to keep you informed on all of the things happening in the world of sports. Like we always say, Game On is on every Tuesday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. and full episodes are available online on SoulOnline's and ONNTV's YouTube channel. We will see you again tomorrow to wrap up the work week. Good night, everybody. Well, thanks again for tuning into another video of Game On here on our YouTube channel.
Is this just your show?
No,
is this just your show?
I say that?
I'm in the show too, Alex.
Guys, we're rolling. Oh boy, do I ever love working with Matt Stefano on Game On. Thanks for tuning in. Matt, do you have anything to say?
Alex, you're number one. I enjoy working with you too. We're the best.
If I'm number one, you're number one. What do you mean? You're number one.
You're number one.
No, you.
No, you're number one.
Fine.
Come on, we're both number one.
Okay, I'll take it.
You're number one team.